You mentioned the team being very coachable and fun to be around with. Can you talk more about coaching, I guess, the earlier years of the Nuggets, coaching Carmelo and Allen Iverson? What was it like coaching superstars, and was there a lot of handling of egos, or were they also coachable?
Oh, Denver was crazy. I mean, we had some strange cats, but what I loved about all of them was they competed. Melo, Kenyon Martin, Marcus Camby, J.R. Smith, Birdman, Nene. You had a lot of different personalities, a lot of different forms. But what I liked about them was they kind of had they were arguable people, they were confrontational people, but they wanted to learn, they wanted to get better, and they wanted to win. And in today's game, you don't get dealt the perfect hand. You gotta figure out how to manage somebody that might not totally buy into your philosophies. But in the same sense, when we got Chauncey on that team, his leadership and his discipline that he brought from Detroit was, we started that season struggling. We made the trade like in the first 10 days of the NBA season. And within 2 weeks, we knew that we were going to be good. Chauncey walked in that locker room and cleaned it up really fast. And I'm happy to see Chauncey back in the NBA as an associate head coach in LA. I think he's going to be a head coach someday, and it'd be a damn good one. Harry, excuse me for a minute. I got to let my dog out.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I have a dog myself, so I know when they get crazy.
I got an old 14-year-old Labrador that sometimes doesn't like me when I don't pay attention to him.
Yeah, gotta keep that eye contact with them all the time. Recently, I guess, actually in the last few days, I think that the Nuggets left off Carmelo off of their all-time team graphic. So there was like an all-time team graphic that they put on social media. He was not there. Do you think he deserves to be there? Does he belong in the all-time Nuggets team?
Well, I think he does. Again, it's generational. I played with Bobby Jones in North Carolina. I know David Thompson pretty well. Some of the old-time Nuggets are great players, but Melo is an incredible, great offensive player. And I'm happy that he had a good run in Portland. I hope he has a couple more years left of him in the NBA. But I've never coached the guy that won a lot of games because no one could stop him. And we always had an advantage because a lot of nights he was the best player on the court for us. And that's a huge advantage in the NBA. I've only coached one guy that's in the Hall of Fame. That's Gary Payton. I think Sean should be in the Hall of Fame. In the same sense, I think Melo should belong in the Hall of Fame as, he's just a special player. And I'm actually an advocate of opening. The Hall of Fame should open up their windows a little bit more and they like a small class rather than a larger class. Mm-hmm. And there are general managers, and there are scouts, and there are assistant coaches. There are trainers that deserve to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame that don't get any love at all. And I think we should celebrate, guys like Doug Moe. Guys that, he brought fast break basketball back to the NBA. And the way the game is playing now, Doug Moe was playing that in 1980. Doug Moe I don't think he ever won a Western Conference, never got the West Conference final once. America gets hung up on championships. And there are a lot of great coaches that have never won championships. Me being one. I'm not a great coach, but I'm on that list. But Rick Majerus and Jerry Sloan, and I mean, there are a lot of guys. And we get hung up on, a coach that delivers excellence for 25 years and a guy that wins the championship because he has a better team than everybody else. And then it doesn't have much of a career. You got to be more realistic to the value of good coaching.
I definitely agree with you, and they should think about reevaluating their criteria, with the Basketball Hall of Fame. I wanted to talk to you about the 08-09 Nuggets team. And that was when you guys went deep into the playoffs and faced the LA Lakers team. What was it like going up against Kobe Bryant, and what was your game plan just facing him in that series?
Our game plan was control everybody else, put your best defender on Kobe, and hopefully he won't shoot the ball well. We felt we wanted Kobe to try to be selfish. We tried to force him into making selfish individual decisions. And he had some big games in that series, don't get me wrong. He played great. But, we lost two close games in that series by not getting the ball inbounds from the sideline out of bounds. I think about 35, 40 seconds. I think maybe game 3 and maybe game 5. I don't recall exactly, but it was a great series. I mean, I look back at that series and a lot of heartache because, winning a championship would have been so special for the city of Denver and also for all the players. Came up short. The next year I thought was our best team. I coached the All-Star game that year, having the best record at All-Star break. And that's when I came down with cancer and I couldn't finish the season. And we kind of fell apart. And then I think the next year was when Melo asked to be traded. Mm-hmm. So it kind of, the one thing about all these teams that think they're good enough to win it and they think they're going to hang around, sometimes it's harder to hang around than you think it is. But, the AI Melo experience didn't work. We got Chauncey, it worked. And to be honest with you, when we made the Melo trade, it even worked better. I mean, we were kind of changing our offense into the way the game's played now. And I always played fast, but we were trying to play faster. Mm-hmm. And Melo and AI kind of bought into it, but didn't really buy into it. But the new guys, they all bought into it. And really, it was fun. I mean, the year we got rid of Melo, the next year we led the NBA in scoring. I think we led the NBA in scoring or in top 2 or 3 the next two years. And as I said, we didn't have an all-star. Mm. We didn't even have an all-star who got any votes. I mean, our best player was probably Ty Lawson.